Coach Webb, great win on Saturday. Came back from down one at halftime, win 3-1 against a really competitive Texas women's squad. What changed in the second half?
We started playing. I don't know. I don't know what we were doing for 60 minutes. We did not look like ourselves. Miscontrolling the ball, passing to the other team, making all kinds of mistakes, and so even the goal they scored so early in the game was a mistake. Alex passed it straight to him, and then they start dribbling to goal, and she tried to recover from a mistake, and she ends up committing the foul, and they hit a free kick that, I don't know, kind of went through Reagan's hands. It's a save I've seen Reagan make all year, so we just weren't very good for 60, and then we were really good for the last 30, and the game ended 3-1, and in that 30-minute span, we could have won 7. Game easily could have been 7-1, but Texas women's showed up. They played hard, and they tried to make a game out of it. But once we started playing that last 30 minutes, it was pretty one-sided after that.
I mean, what was the mood after Norm missed the penalty? Was it kind of like, we'll get one, or is it kind of like, did they tighten up a little bit, or I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I didn't ask them, but you just watch, and I think that they responded very well to that, because for penalties to be not quite an automatic goal, but the closest thing you can get to in our sport is when you get a penalty kick. That's the closest thing you can get to an automatic goal. All the pressure's on the goalkeeper. We've made 1 out of 4 this year, so I don't know why we're not very good at it. I'm either choosing the wrong person, or that person's just having a missed kick in that particular moment. I'm not exactly sure, but the misses that we had, and then the penalty kick. Yes, it would be very easy for a soccer team to get discouraged and say, "Man, this just isn't our day," and use goofy words like "unlucky," which I hate that word, but a lot of people use it in our sport. Like unlucky, no, but execute. But that seems to happen in our sport, and that didn't occur because I thought the kids actually started playing harder after we missed the penalty. Hannah Kelly Luff scores all of our goals except for the past few games, and she's down defending in our own penalty box after we missed that penalty, and my assistant's like, "Dude, she can't be down there," and I'm just like, "Well, just let her do it for a little bit, because we might get a spark out of this." And so if you see kids that normally don't defend down in our own penalty box just working as hard as they can to defend, maybe we fed off of that a little bit. But yeah, I thought they responded really well, and they actually picked their game up instead of getting discouraged and just quit.
So that's just the second time since 2015 you guys have overcome a first half deficit.
I did not know that.
That's pretty crazy.
So I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have Commerce tomorrow. And you guys have won 5 straight. You guys beat them in overtime earlier this year. What does Commerce do that kind of gives you guys fits?
Texas A&M Commerce and WT play like polar opposite styles of soccer, and that's what gives us fits sometimes. Is we love to pass the ball, and we love to keep the ball, and we'll go the length of the field sometimes with 15, 16 passes put together, and like there's a rhythm to our style. I've even had people that don't have like tremendous soccer backgrounds or a lot of soccer experience, when they sit in the stands, they tell me that they don't know what they're feeling, but they're feeling something. They can feel it. So there's a rhythm to it, right? And Commerce is like anti-rhythm. And they will do anything they can to have the game not play with any rhythm. They'll just kick it as far as they can, as hard as they can. They'll kick it out of bounds. They'll foul us. They'll do whatever they can to mess up this little ticker that we have going. So every time we play, we create early chances. So if we score those, game's probably over pretty soon. If we don't score those, and the game goes longer and longer and longer, and Texas A&M Commerce feeds off of the kind of chaotic style that they play instead of the rhythmic style, that's when it causes a lot of problems. So, and they give us more problems when we play there. So when we won there in overtime, that was actually a pretty good win to do it there. But when we play here on our plastic, when we're sharp and we pass the ball, it's harder to break our rhythm. So hopefully that's what we do tomorrow.
you talk a lot about rhythm, but Emily and Alex made some quite impressive runs from the center back position. Is that something you guys had installed, or I mean, 'cause you don't see that tons of because of the rhythm, right? But they were making runs just straight up the middle of the pitch.
Well, you might see something similar on Tuesday because the other thing that's different about Texas women's and Commerce from WT is that they man mark everywhere. So if you're playing like a basketball man system where everybody's marking a man, and if the person on the ball has no pressure on them and everyone else is just marking a player, that person can just end up dribbling 50, 60 yards. So that also messes up our rhythm is when we play teams that just mark man-to-man all over the place. So that's why you see Emily get on the ball and she's looking to pass to the right back or pass to the center back, which is what she normally does, and she's like, well, everybody else is marked. I might as well just start dribbling. So it's a little bit by design because we talked about it, but it's not our preference. But we might have to do the same thing against Commerce.
How impressive was Asha James in the second half?
I thought she was fantastic. She's the prime example of what I was talking about earlier. For 60 minutes, she didn't do much of anything. In fact, I thought she was kind of hiding from the game, because we're still getting to know each other. And I'm like, come on, Asha, this is the first playoff game I've seen you play, and I want it to be higher than what I've seen, not lower. But then she lit it up in the last 30 minutes, scored 2, could have scored 4.